All right. Hey,
This,
everybody. Welcome to the Art of Social Media podcast brought to you by CJ Creative Agency.
thank you. My name is Jonathan Aguilar.
Chris Chapel.
And my name is Fawad Dost.
Today we are going to be talking about this case that's been happening, right, Fuad?
Man. We woke up today and something blew up on YouTube.
Something blew up. We saw a video on Reddit. It was the case Ricky Banks versus Barley. What was it? Barley Board?
Cleveland's Barley House.
Right, in Ohio. And so basically what happened is this guy, he's a huge YouTuber under FaZe Banks, and he has 3 million subscribers, a little bit over that. And he went on a Thanksgiving little vacation with his girlfriend.
Rampage.
A rampage.
A
No.
Thanksgiving massacre.
Yeah, you could call it a massacre, but in some people's eyes, others were seeing him heavily assaulted, Fuad.
The main details that are going to be in this video today is what we're talking about is mainly how social media can actually ruin your business and how you can redeem yourself, or how you can prevent these things in the future, or how to address this when actual actions happen within your company, and how you can fix this on social media.
Right. So this guy has a lot of subscribers on YouTube, and after this incident happened, what happened is this guy attended this bar. Him and his girlfriend were mistreated, not treated properly. They got in a huge fight. Allegedly. And this guy has a ton of influence on YouTube, on Instagram, on Snapchat. And after this had happened, all of his followers, his subscribers, personally attacked these employees at this bar. They were sending them death threats, showing up at their houses, taking pictures, saying, "I'd watch out if I were you."
Absolute crazy.
It was insane. And this just goes to show that if you have enough influence on the internet, anything is really possible. You can take down a business, you can take down someone's entire YouTube page, you can end someone's internet presence with the right influence.
So as social media marketing consultants, a lot of times we face issues like this. Hey, someone put a review on my page. Hey, someone put a negative review here and it's not true. What's the best way to deal with this? And so today we're going to go over how Barley House dealt with this, and we're going to give our opinion. Some of us think that they did a good job.
Right.
Some of us think that
It was a well put video on my eyes.
Yeah, man, I liked it a lot.
Very
So
professional.
let's just recap really quick, okay?
Right.
So at Cleveland's Barley House, FaZe Banks and his girlfriend and their family, they went there. They got into an altercation. They got asked to leave. They posted videos saying that they were assaulted, saying that they were treated unfairly,
His girlfriend was groped.
that his girlfriend was sexually assaulted.
All these accusations.
There are a lot of accusations,
They
very
were
much
filming
accusations,
this live on their Instagram, posting Snapchat stories.
saying that they got beat up, everything.
Right.
And then afterwards, like Jonathan said, the Barley House social media pages, the Barley House employees social media pages were all attacked. Their Yelp was attacked. Their Google was attacked.
Their entire
One-star
internet
reviews.
presence.
Everything was attacked.
They got flamed.
And the problems with this is what can happen in the future is if you're getting tons of one-star reviews from one incident because of a major influence, what's going to start happening is your page is going to start getting ranked. The Yelp page is going to recognize that your business is a valuable source to go to that restaurant, and that can be very bad for business in the future because one single incident has now led to 100+ reviews at Barley House, all because of one single thing that had happened.
Yeah, so this is kind of like, so I'm going to call this YouTube beef, okay? So basically what happens is, when this happens is, this YouTuber FaZe Banks, he makes an introductory video saying, "Hey, I had the worst night of my life." And that's what he titled the video. This is going to bring in so much attraction from his followers, not only from his subscribers, but everyone else on YouTube that might have heard from him. They're going to say, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." So they're going to get his point of view. He's personally saying, "Look, I had the worst experience of my life at this bar. Okay, you do not need to go there for any means." He painted this portrait of this bar, and he was making it look so bad in his view. And this bar, in return, made another video saying the truth, what happened behind FaZe Banks and Alyssa Violet, his girlfriend, who got attacked.
But it's very important. It's very important to say that the video that they made, Barley House, the video that was made in response to the other video was mostly surveillance footage.
Right. It was all they released the footage is what
Yeah.
the bar did. And in the footage you can see everything happening while the owner of the bar is explaining, look, we calmly said you need to go upstairs. Here he's mocking us. Here he swings. And when FaZe Banks, the YouTuber, made his video public, he was saying, I did not have one aggressive bone in my body. And the bar made the video in return saying they played his video back on footage and saying this man said he didn't have an aggressive bone in his body. And in the video, you see him striking an employee, a bouncer, if you will, and he broke his finger. It was completely just shattered.
So it's amazing because after watching the Barley House video, I personally 100% think that this FaZe Banks is so irresponsible in his influence.
Right.
Drunkenly posting aggressive material to go after a business
Right.
or an individual.
That's extremely messed up.
So irresponsible. Some might say trashy.
Some might.
Some might. And I think that the bar handled it amazingly.
Right.
Well, it's really interesting too because a lot of the altercations, a lot of the fights that were happening weren't even really Barley House employees. They were just people there that were having conflicts with them. And they were getting in fights that way.
There's two standpoints from what I'm seeing. Okay, there's a business standpoint, and then there's okay, look, I have subscribers on YouTube, and I'm gonna appeal to them, whatever it takes. So as far as the business side, in my eyes, the bar handled it so well. They couldn't have done it any better. They used surveillance, they used evidence, they used the right proof, calmly addressed it. News stations were addressing it, and in return, FaZe Banks, the YouTuber, was getting his subscribers on his side. Meanwhile, he was retaining their loyalty. He was making money at the same time. He was working out in his favor. He had to defend his point because he had so many followers. He couldn't handle the amount of people that would subscribe to him. That would just not go well in his eyes.
True. Now, one really amazing thing is after I saw this video, not only did I think that FaZe Banks was in the wrong,
Right.
but I had a huge amount of respect for Barley House and
Right.
their employees.
Right.
Because the video clearly shows FaZe getting his ass kicked.
Right.
And the security guards run outside and stop him from getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, this guy
Saved him.
was
Saved him
on
from
the ground.
He was next to pointed bars in a garden.
Yeah. It was
so
extremely
dangerous.
bad.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't already seen the footage, I highly recommend you Google it. Just Google FaZe
We'll
Banks
link it below.
Yeah, right.
The other amazing thing is his girlfriend put live Snapchat videos
Alyssa
on
Violet.
where
Alyssa.
she's not injured at all.
No.
So her injuries clearly came after closing, after they were out of the bar, after security already
Right.
went in. She's running around with her phone in front of people's faces. They got sick of it and they slapped her.
Right.
Yeah, they stayed longer just to get that extra footage for their channels.
Exactly. And so yeah, that's another point. Like these content producers, they're gonna get as much as they can. And Alyssa took it too far. After the bar had closed, nobody else was allowed. They still stood around the bar waiting to get more footage. Alyssa was putting her phone in front of all these people's faces, recording it with the flash on, and the girl finally got tired, slapped it out of her face, and the boyfriend came in. I think he threw like a phone at her or something.
No, he threw a glass bottle,
He threw a glass bottle.
which is extremely dangerous.
Extremely.
Out of
The
everything
whole
that happened,
situation
that
was
was
pretty intense.
the most aggressive thing all night was that.
Right. Exactly.
From the guy without an aggressive bone in his body.
And after this fight had broken into, these two patrons were like Alyssa Violet and the boyfriend. They were all in a huge fight, and the bar, all that security came out, and they, on top of what had happened earlier in the night, they still got FaZe Banks while he was getting punched on his back.
And then they escorted him to his car.
Right.
To make sure he was safe.
They still gave him an escort to the car. They were making sure everybody was safe for the night. It was a big situation. But the what mainly happened here is all these followers, all these subscribers, what I'm astonished about is they're so loyal to this guy that they personally attacked and threatened all of these employees at this business, and all of them were taking major heat. Like they were getting death threats, getting texts. How would you feel about that?
Let me just tell you something. These people that are going after these employees and going after their business,
Right.
for a person they've probably never even met in real life,
Right.
I guarantee they wouldn't even do this if their mother got slapped.
Oh no.
No, they wouldn't go
No.
after anybody.
They would never do
But
that.
for this person that they know online,
Exactly. Never
they are
met.
going absolutely crazy.
Exactly.
It is amazing.
It could hugely impact their business.
I wonder what happened to their
If there
business.
was no response, no release of the footage, if they totally wanted to completely avoid social media, that could be absolutely detrimental to their business in the future. There's just no way you could recover from such a disaster if you didn't address something, if you didn't show proof on what actually happened, and if you have to be a good enough person to actually get on there on social media and explain the whole entire situation so that way everyone truly understands what was going on.
In a well thought out way. So that kind of brings us back to the point of this video. How did Barley House do? How did they react? Let's start with you, Jonathan. You give us your opinion.
Okay, so I'm glad you actually mentioned that, because I was about to bring up the point that if Barley House, that bar, hadn't responded on YouTube with the title, the truth behind what had really happened, if they didn't have a YouTube channel, if they weren't on Reddit promoting it, if they weren't on Twitter correcting what this guy was saying, where do you think they'd be right now?
They'd be done.
Exactly. Their social media let them. But because they had all that influence and all those people watching them, everybody was able to see what really happened. They were able to see the surveillance. They were able to see both sides of the cases. If that business hadn't had social media, in my eyes, I think they would have been finished, because that guy has a lot of influence. He could have easily said, look, never go there. And then if they hadn't responded, they're done.
Yeah, and there's also accounts of FaZe Banks and his girlfriend yelling at the business. Do you know who we are? We can
Right.
end you guys.
And in his video, he mentions that a
Using
lot.
their power
Right.
against them.
He was saying, not to mention a news channel was broadcasting what had happened, and like, this happened last night. The YouTuber, he was saying, the news channel, you guys portrayed it so wrongly, and I have extreme beef with your news channel, by the way. That's not getting fixed anytime. And I was like, this guy knows he has power. This guy knows that he has tons of influence.
Yeah. So Chase, how do you feel Barley House reacted?
Well, one of the most important things I really noticed was how fast they responded. If you took a week, a lot of things can happen in that time. People have already made their decisions. A lot of things can go down in that time frame. But the fact that the person who actually made the video, I believe it was the business owner, had actually stayed up later that night, edited the video, exported the video, and actually knew where to send it out on the social media platforms and knew who to get it to, so that way it would get its actual publicity so people could see their perspective on it, it was absolutely huge, because it gave the people who actually go to the Barley House to be a part of it. It gave everyone the true insight on what was going down within the actual restaurant and bar, because if they hadn't released it so soon, who knows what could have happened and who knows where we'd be.
And I have to actually agree with both Jonathan and Chase. I think the Barley House did an amazing job. I'm actually a fan of Barley House now.
Right.
I would tell them that they should have a website with e-commerce selling merchandise.
Exactly.
Because people like me who don't live in Ohio, I would buy a shirt. I would buy a shirt from Barley House. I would buy one that maybe says, I went to Cleveland Barley House where FaZe Banks is not allowed anymore. I'd buy some materials. So
That's funny.
So I think Cleveland Barley House did such an amazing job.
Right.
They have a fan in me. If I'm ever in Cleveland, you better believe I'm gonna go there.
Hey, dude, I'm visiting this famous bar now. I
Yeah.
feel like it put them on the map a little bit.
Man, they are great. I love them so much. I would buy, and I'm not joking. If I haven't checked out their website to see if they have merchandise, but if they do, I'm gonna go buy it. I want to support these people. Their security staff was amazing. Nobody was aggressive. They totally de-escalated the situation 3 or 4 times.
Right.
With these crazy people yelling at them, throwing glass, trying to start fights with them.
Completely agree.
Even saved them.
Yeah,
at one point in the night.
even save them. Now, one thing that's amazing that has come out of this, that I keep seeing repeated over and over and over again, is apparently FaZe Banks is bald.
Yeah.
He's completely bald. He wears hats to cover it up. and because of the security footage that's been released,
Right.
It's
Everybody.
trending.
and What's crazy is out of everything, I think that's hurting him the most.
I bet it is.
And that security footage wouldn't have been released if it wasn't for his actions.
What's really funny is I've seen this guy's videos a couple times in the past, and this guy's always wearing hats.
Always.
And the funny thing is, as soon as we saw the video, Chase was like, "Is that guy bald? Is he really bald?" And I was like, "Oh, that's why he wears all those hats all the
It
time."
was so noticeable.
It was incredibly noticeable.
So we're running out of time, so we'll just leave you with this. We get a lot of questions from the people that we consult.
Right.
How do we deal with negative reviews?
Right.
How do we deal with negative Yelp reviews?
Of course.
How do we deal with negative Google reviews? How do we ensure that the real essence of our business is being portrayed digitally? And we'll leave you with this. There's no one way to fix it, but anytime you do get a negative review, it's always best to first try to reach out to that person and see if you can fix it.
Yeah,
see if there's some
always.
legitimacy to their claim and see if you can fix it. Good customer service is going to trump everything else.
Of course.
Once you fix it, you can kindly ask them to fix their review or change it. Now, if you're getting fake reviews, it's always a good idea to respond to them, let people know what is actually happening. And there's a couple of ways where you can actually use your website to generate positive reviews and impact reputation management in a positive way.
Right.
Setting up surveys that push over to Yelp and Google, that's one way.
So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, just visit our website. That's cjcreativeagency.com. We are releasing podcasts every Tuesday and Thursdays. We're going to be talking about business, digital marketing, everything along those lines. Basically, in conclusion, that is the power of influence on YouTube, on social media. That's what somebody can do to a business. You can ruin it. You can make it great. You can give it publicity. That's just basic influencer doing his job. But I think that covers most of today, right, guys?
Exactly. And remember, guys, with great power comes great responsibility.
As a wise man once said.
Once said.
But we'll see you guys in another episode.